Okay. So the time is 6 o'clock, and I call the March 9th meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Just a reminder that this is a recorded meeting and a live stream. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second item is approval of minutes.
I read the minutes. I had found two little mistakes that Mr. Zelinski fixed, and I make a motion be accepted as written.
I second the motion.
So the motion's been made by Ron and Skip, seconded by Skip to approve the minutes of the last meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, they are approved. Citizen comments, I checked online and we didn't have any, but we have the residents, so. If you want to announce your, oh, I'm sorry, if you just want to announce your name first.
Arthur Neiman, 2.2 Brown Road.
Thank you.
Now, Tracy, I tried to have an appointment with you twice, and I had 3 knee surgeries in 13 months, and I was therapy on Tuesday. And I suggested Wednesday, and you didn't want to do Wednesday. You never suggested Monday or Thursday or Friday, or, you know, when you got elected, you were elected for 24/7, whether you know it or not. So far as I'm concerned, you're just concerned about yourself, not the taxpayers. You know, I can talk to some of the other selectmen on this board. They know that. You know. Okay. So that's number one. Okay, you travel Route 49 when you come out of Brown Road, goes by one town, and after Tom Sweet's Farm, well, I guess it's the 5th house on the right, and then you have State Forest quite a long ways, where the power lines were down this past week. Well, just before that, well, I used to own a house, that last house for a couple of years there. And there's 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 dead trees, oaks. And the state had, you know, this outfit, which was amazing. I mean, I was impressed. They're working on 395, taking these trees down. Why they didn't take them down, I don't know. You know anything about it?
It's a state road and the state does the trees on that road or Eversource, so I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. You know, when they were there cutting, I mean, they went over the property lines to take these dead trees down. It's a scenic road. And where these trees are, it's state forest. So, you know, I really see no problems unless it was because of the machines and they were too close to the lines or something.
You gotta stay away from the lines, and they usually don't cut the same side as the lines are.
Yeah, they did cut some around there.
Yeah, I know, I mean,
They do, but Eversource has trees.
Right, these are good sized oaks.
oh yeah, there's a lot of BBs that should go.
Good sized oaks. But, you know, we're on the end of the line and these trees are gonna come down. We're the last to get the power. I mean, we get a major hurricane or something, we'll be out a week or 10 days. Now, Tracy, where you live, your power comes the other way from Danielson Way and down Condon Road. So, you know, we're on the end. So I would suggest maybe you call Highway District 2 in Norwich and speak to the tree guy, tree warden. I mean, they have a special guy that, you know, checks out trees and marks them and see what it is. Maybe they're gonna come asphalt them. I mean, they've been working in town, I see.
Yeah, but they're just cutting like their normal, they cut low and there's the branches that stick out. Now, I called the state before and complained about Rockville Road. They have their ones, they have a tree guy come out and he marks them. If he doesn't mark it, they don't cut it.
Yeah,
I have one of my neighbor is, the foreman in Stockholm. And he says he can't really do anything.
yeah. I know, that's why I say call the district, maybe you gotta go further than the district, But the state has a tree crew,
They have 3, I think, now.
well, whatever. But I think that's a problem you should look into, and maybe in a year or two, the trees will get cut before they fall. And I call Eversource, the 2 big pine trees we have side of the road by our house, Tracy.
Mhm.
And they're about 85, 90 feet tall. They took one down 2, 3 years ago. It was rotten. I know trees, and cut trees all my life, and pine do rot in the center. And a guy did come out and he said, we have to take care of the dead trees. Okay, from gypsy moss. So I can understand that. Apparently, they're on the list. But, I told him, we have all these houses, rear lots. I don't know, Ronnie?
Huh?
The houses, the rear lots, across
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah.
They were never there years ago, but
No.
I know. Oh, Julie's one of them, but there's 14 houses, I think. And, these trees come down on the power line, it's gonna knock out 3, 4 transformers and, move the lines down into the houses and, $100,000 damage for the cost Eversource. I said, save this money, take them down. And so we're on the list. So much for that. Oh. Who is the, number 2, who is the road foreman, or do we have one?
Well, technically, I'm the road foreman because we don't have one.
Okay.
I put my 2 cents in where it's needed.
So yeah, he's the like whatever overseer.
So who draws the salary? You put in time for it or
Where there's no pay for it.
no pay for
No.
it?
It's
Okay.
a
I don't even get mileage for my checking out driveways, so like you say, there's a lot of time that's put in that is not reimbursed for.
I understand, Ronnie.
No, I just want you to understand, yeah.
I've been in that boat too.
other towns that don't have a road foreman, if their first selectman has, he gets compensated for it, but we don't do that, and I don't expect to do that, so.
Okay. Snow plowing. The guys do an excellent job. I don't know what they're using for mix now, Ronnie. Is it a 6 and 3?
3 to 1,
Huh?
which 3 to 1, which we used to, with Les that started me was 7 to 2.
So that's,
So what that's 3.5 to 1.
so that's 6 and 2.
6 and 2, yeah.
Instead of 7 and 2. This time of year, you could go to
Oh, I thought,
8 and 1 even.
after I already told them you could go 4 to 1, 8 to 2.
Yeah.
Now, I don't,
Well, Tracy, I give you credit. They're doing an excellent job. The only one gripe I have, they have to slow down. You notice the mailboxes around town, or have you ever plowed snow?
I haven't plowed it, but I rode with them yet.
Okay. You know the difference between a high-speed plow and a pusher plow?
I think so. The way that,
No, pusher plow, they'll do a rooster tail. Really, the high-speed plow, they curve, which you have them now. That's to keep the slush down. And especially on brown road, because they gotta go get this material. So if it looks bad, they always put a little extra, right? But nothing but slush. And they plow back, so they're going too fast, even with the high-speed plow, they don't have to go 40 miles an hour. I did 10 years on it, 95 from this to over the Gold Star Bridge, so I know speed. And I plowed for the town before I drove my uncle's truck. And I used to sand the roads when I was probably 20 years old. with the old truck rear ends,
Shuffling it there.
and the guy in the back shoving down, so I got a little experience. They just gotta slow down, Tracy.
Okay.
We used to have 2 trucks, did the whole town. Now you have 4,
Yes.
so, yeah. Slow down a little. They're not really pressed, I don't think, for time. They're putting the material, so I mean, if there's 2 inches of snow and they don't get to it, but really accumulating storm, but the grid is still there. I mean, our roads are better than the state highway.
Yes, they are. They do an excellent job.
I give you credit there, Tracy. Okay. Now, Greg, your Zoom meetings, no good. We've lost the right to vote. We have lost a lot of seniors in town. But there's always new ones coming. And they're not, none of them don't have computers and access. And I think losing our right to vote, I know that virus had a lot to do with it, but things are loosening up. Okay, so much on that. We're gonna appoint town clerk. Well, we have men and women in the service fighting to keep our rights, the rights to vote. If you do this, this should be at least a town meeting, not you just the board of selectmen appointment.
No, it is. Oh, for what?
So, no,
I don't get,
we're not-
we have decided that we are not going to use the authority that the governor has given us in order to just pass that ordinance. We are going to a town
We're having
meeting
a town
for the town
meeting.
clerk.
And a lot of the stuff that governor, you're telling me, Tracy, or Julie said the governor this, whatever. I talked to Hartford also. And Ronnie knows, I know who to call. I mean, I paid enough attention when I was on a board of selectmen, right, Ronnie?
Yes.
Okay. So, I don't think you should appoint her, so you're not gonna do it. Okay, the other Greg, Casey? Well, if I would have met with you, this wouldn't be on Zoom, and it wouldn't be in the minutes. But now I'm here, so the whole town's gonna hear what I have to say.
Go for it.
Right at school. It's been plywood on the windows for a year and a half. The town building. The flagpole was never put up when there was a hurricane. So it was deductible. Oh, okay, it's about deductible. We took $4,000 from the Historical Society towards that school. They have no money to have programs now. You basically killed the Historical Society, as far as I'm concerned. But they worked hard to raise this money and do membership, and they had appraisal shows before to raise this money, and this was to have programs and speakers come in. Where are the rails from there? There was rails put in there before, and they were up, and they've been taken down.
I know he said it to me the other day, I'm sorry, I forgot to say that, but I don't know what happened to them. If
I don't
they,
know what rails they're talking about.
we walked in, there were a couple of black wrought iron,
Wrought iron rails.
and there was one anyways.
And they're high
Unless they fell
steps.
down when the tree fell.
That's right, that's all I was gonna say, it's the only thing
remember
I
there
could
being
see.
rails there.
When the paint thing was being done, that's when they disappeared. Honey.
I don't think they're in any of the pictures. I have pictures.
They could be inside, but
No, they were, it was just short one, but then it's when you went up the stairs on the right-hand side, there was a rail there. I haven't noticed that it was
there
gone.
was one on both sides, Ronnie.
There was,
Yeah, but they could even plant shrubs there, and
yeah, the shrubs, that, I mean, we cut the shrubs back plenty of times.
he used to go and trim them, and And they got overgrown and you gotta cut shrubs down and redo them or whatever. Well, that's the gripe on that way to school. Why hasn't anything been done? I mean, the windows,
Right, because we've been in a pandemic, for a year, so all the stuff we were planning on doing over the summer, we couldn't do, and that's why that didn't get. We still have all the stuff to do it, we're still planning on getting it done, just with the pandemic, summer was a part where we couldn't do anything, so it just never got done. Our person that was working on it was out of commission from COVID, so we didn't do it, we had other things going on, so, but we still have.
these windows probably have to be custom made.
They are being custom made, that's the person that's working on it that I was telling you about. What?
Who's working on it?
They're being worked on by,
I don't remember the name.
I can't remember off the top of my head either. But he's making he is custom making all the windows, he has them all. He's the one doing all the windows, they're gonna get put back in after we paint. And we were supposed to paint this summer, but because of COVID, we never got around to doing the painting. We have all the supplies, we have everything, we just have to get out there.
The primer paint is
It's already primed. We just-
peeling already.
Right.
Now, you took a line item out of the budget last year. Why?
Line item for what?
Why to school?
No, it's still, the line item's still in the budget.
No, it wasn't last year.
We probably didn't put, what did we put last year for it? Nothing?
Nothing.
Oh, they didn't, the committee didn't put in their stuff. So, and we were trying really hard last year because the Board of Selectmen had to approve the budget last year without a vote because the state was making that mandatory. We didn't want to go up on our budget because of that, so we were being very, very
Conservative.
conservative.
You didn't have to go up on account of that if you kept the same line item.
No, we had
You
to
went
go
up
up.
on something else, Tracy.
Yeah, probably.
You know, don't try to go over my
I'm
head.
not going over your head, I said probably.
I think you've been real polite. Just keep it that way, please.
I'm trying.
I know you're being very good.
But as far as the money from the Historical Society, I didn't make them give us money.
That's what she had said that,
They
that
donated that.
they brought it
That
up.
was their offer. I didn't say they had to give us money at all. I would never do that. They offered the money. They raised the money to go towards the grant, because we got a grant and
Yeah, but you asked them, it was to take the lead paint off, and this was supposed to cost you $16,000,
it did.
and you didn't have that kind of money in the,
In a line item.
in the fund, yes.
Yeah.
Carrying over.
But they didn't have to give that money at all. They offered to give.
No,
us that.
they were nice because they would,
Right, and it was very appreciative when I told them that. We wouldn't have been able to get what done and what we
you
had.
asked them, but now, the job's not done, Tracy. Okay. Town garage, we have $1 million town garage running,
Mm-hmm.
your baby,
Yep.
$1 million garage. Overrun, 23,000.
Yep.
You're gonna transfer funds from another account to pay this. Okay. Why? You signed a contract with this company. Number one, when you signed the contract and they were supposed to start, they gave it skills, the ground was froze. Well, they should have figured this all in. When you have $1 million contract, I think they could eat 22,000. I think you
Awesome.
was lack a little
They
negotiation.
fought very hard with them. There was a cost overrun, they ran into bad dirt, it was a lot higher than that, we cut a lot of
We
stuff
cut a
out of
lot,
it.
because the actual overage was more than that. And we did have contingency in the budget to cover it,
Well,
but there were
you
things
had a
that happened.
contract.
Yeah, but you went outside the contract.
We have to
You put
put a little bit
extras
limit on
after the
public comment
contract?
time.
When you ran into a problem that wasn't expected, it's an added cost. We have to have, what do you call it, when you're at,
We had contingency in there, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Change order.
change order,
It was a change order.
had to have
And then
change
it was a
order.
full contract. Okay. Taxes. Everybody's valuation's gone up. including mine. I don't know about everybody, but a lot. I have talked to a lot of people.
But it's usually for a revale, they all go up, so everyone.
That's why they do it every 10 years, to
If you
bring
look
things
back
up.
to every
I
revale we had,
understand.
they
I
usually
understand why you
all go up.
do revale.
Because the state
I'm
makes
I'm coming early enough here, Ronnie, to bring this up.
I'm gonna ask to move a little faster though, because we still have our meeting to do too.
No, you're not gonna, Tracy, because I called to make an appointment with you and you even been that hours. So I got a couple more things. Actually, I'm on the last one, so.
Okay.
Taxes, the grand list, okay, everybody's up. 20, 30,000 that I talked to. Some are 2, 3,000, 5,000. I haven't talked to anybody that went down. Okay, yes, values go up. But like mine went up 30,000, and I haven't done nothing. Okay, 3 years ago, I put a new building up. I had the Amish come out from Pennsylvania. I came to the Board of Appeals, bought my bill. I paid 3,000 less than the town put me in. Revals never even stopped at my place this time. So, you know, lousy company as far as I'm concerned. I called them, tried to explain what I was complaining about. I understand the state goes up because, you know, if they can raise the value of the land, when there's a state, they get more money, you get more money. I know how this works. But, so they said you gotta go to assessor. I called the assessor. The assessor says, you gotta go to Board of Appeals. Okay, I'm a Board of Appeals, and I get this letter, I gotta bring it from Renton, I gotta bring all kinds of records of my business, which is none of the town's business as far as property taxes go. Even former President Trump they didn't get his income tax papers. Well, the mill rate should go down a lot, drastically, mills. So what I want Julie to do is send me a grand list of last year with, and then a supplementary list. And when you get far enough in your budget, the grand list for this year and the supplementary. I feel the mill rate should go down this year.
Arthur, we actually feel the mill, it'd be nice for the mill rate to go down every year. We don't raise, I don't like taxes, none of us like taxes.
No, we don't raise taxes.
Prices have gone up. The price of workman's comp has took a big jump this year. The fire department is running into problems over there. There's things that have to be taken care of. I don't like to keep raising taxes. Like I say, I get hardly anything for it. Unfortunately, things are different. The state gives mandates, and most of your money doesn't go to the town or the fire department. It goes up there where the state gives even more mandates, where they have no choices.
Okay, you're talking about mandates in the state. You're gonna be getting more funds from the state also. There's federal money coming to the states. It's supposed to be coming to the towns, but it's.
But that
That
is,
money, I was just in a meeting about that money today, and that money is it's COVID related money. So that money has to go, it's a one-time expenses. It's not something that can go towards your budget, because it has to be something that you're not counting on year after year after year, because that money's a one-time thing. So that money has to be for like almost like a capital project kind of thing for COVID related expenses. That's all that money can go for. So it's not really going to affect our actual budget, because unless we are
Unless it
creative,
doesn't cover our COVID expenses.
unless there's stuff in the budget that we can be creative about as a COVID expense, but mostly that money is for other things that we would have to spend money on
and
as
they,
a COVID expense.
what did they give us, Julie? 14,000 to the town?
For this year,
Yeah.
14,000 and then 20,000, but we had to give 10% to Uncle South.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
some of that money goes to, places that supported us during COVID, like Untitled.
Right, because the health districts got no
Nothing.
direct
They
funding
got
from the
no
federal
money.
government. It was the towns had to fund the health districts.
So some of that money coming in will probably go directly to Untitled and to other agencies that supported us and our residents during COVID for the food drives so we don't know what that money, like, what we can use that money on.
You know,
I
sometimes
wouldn't be for it,
being a little town, you bend these rules a little bit. Who's gonna enforce them?
well, the thing is, we have to, it's the federal money, we're in the meeting again today. There's certain criteria from the Department of Treasury, from the state of Connecticut. You have to prove what you're using that money for before they won't even give you the money.
I had to
before you
submit
prove it.
invoices for it.
Yeah,
Like,
and they have to approve that. So it's not like we can go behind their back and buy whatever we want and then tell them we'll make up what we spent it on. We have to have proof.
do you have a service for seniors, like if they need a ride to the doctors or they need to go and get a shot for vaccines?
Yep, that's one of the things we're working on. We
So, you
recently,
know, that's something
yep,
you can spend this money.
Yep, and we have that
Not
on our-
on a line item.
yep, nope, we have that on our list. We are working currently on a plan on things that we can use that money for. And we did just, like, yesterday or the day before, we just received the van from Griswold. So we do have the senior van now, but we have to, take it to the mechanic and see what it needs to be done and get it registered and everything before we can use it. But we do have that, and those are options where this money can be used.
You know, it's been over 20 years since I've been on the board of selectmen. Right, Ronnie?
Yep.
We put you as road foreman. And I've tried to stay away and let the selectmen do their thing, because, you know, I had my time, but, you know, these things really bothered me. And then, you know, if the taxes don't come down.
I'm not gonna lie and say they're gonna come down. We don't purposely bring the taxes up. We keep spending at a minimal. We do what we
We
can.
do the best every budget
Yeah.
year to make sure that we
Because
are
we pay the
break
taxes
even.
too.
But remember, what's gonna kill this town is the school. And the state is looking for low-income housing in the worst way. Look at all the immigrants coming in. They're busing to Maryland, Virginia, all over the place. I'm sure they're going to Hartford, New Haven, the sanctuary cities. You know? They can move out here. You know, if taxes go high enough, there's still land in this town. And
Actually, we need affordable housing in town, so it's not a problem to have it. The problem,
you
our
know,
problem for affordable housing is we don't have the public transportation, we don't have the infrastructure for it, but.
well, that's what kills you, that's
we-
what kills your town, Tracy. And, you know, that'll come under your
How does it kill
administration.
the town? Are
That'll
you
come under your
saying,
administration, you know, if this happens, and it could happen.
that will buy the state is pushing that it's mandatory that all towns have 10% affordable housing, or you're gonna get penalized. And if you don't have that 10% affordable housing, you're not gonna get grants, certain kinds of grants and certain
Yeah.
funding.
You know,
So,
I know, I was on planning and zoning too. And, you know, they've been pushing for that for years, but we have the elderly housing, and we have places that the rent is lower, or let's say, 2 apartments in the house, or, you know, a mother-in-law apartment, and these things, you know, you gotta speak up.
We do need
These
more
become
affordable
low-income
housing
housing
for
for the elderly.
families, for the elderly, for everyone. So it is a need in town.
But that's what will kill this town, the school.
The school can take more, the school population has gone down so much that we can comfortably have at least 50 to 60 houses in this town without the school having an impact.
But you just told me they're going up, they're going up.
What's
You
going on?
know, you're telling me 2 different things here.
No, but
Tracy.
What's going on?
the houses, you get taxes for school budget. When Byron Gallup sold that piece of land, we don't even get, even though he was in Act 490 or whatever it is, we lose because the state only gives us so much percentage of the pilot money. It's the state that's screwing the town with the pilot money. And they have for years and they continue. She's been up fighting that like heck.
But I was talking about the school population.
Yeah, the school
population's
population could
going down.
absorb 50 houses.
Yeah, the
He's
school
told me
pop-
that before.
The school
Yeah, but-
population's going down so much that it's,
The
we would have
pilot
to make
hasn't
it.
gone down. You three, you know what you gotta work on. You know, Ronnie.
We know everything. I mean, in Arthur, we keep up with.
Be rude here and take up your, I've been here long enough. And Tracy said, hurry up. So, I got my gripes across. And I wasn't
Thank
gonna
you.
come, but if you would have said meet you Monday or Thursday or Friday or.
Well, it just depends on with the week, because I do have meetings all week, and the week that you wanted to come in, I must have had meetings. Usually I have meetings.
Meetings where?
I have meetings, they're on my computer, but they're usually, I have a lot of meetings with the Department of Emergency Management, with COG, with NECOG, with CCM, with,
Some Hartford is a skeleton city. Nobody's working there.
no, they're not, they're all on
My
the
son
computer.
works for the state too.
They're all Zoom meetings, so they're all.
And these people come in. They log on 10 in the morning, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Couple hours. And show that they did a little something, and then they break for lunch, and, Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you, Arthur, for being polite.
I want
Thank you,
a
Mr.
copy of these minutes, Julie, and if it's not what we discussed here, I will be back. And like I say, I want the grand list from last year,
Please.
budget, please.
Do you want them mailed for you, or are you gonna pick them up?
You can mail, I
Okay.
won't come and bother you.
How many, the whole grand list, like, you just want the last page, like, or you want the whole, the grand list is huge,
Yeah, it probably costs a lot of money.
No, the final
50 cents.
figures,
50 cents a page, right?
final figures.
Just last year's and this year's, right?
The final
Yeah.
page?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
29,000. And it's gonna be 35,000. And no big deal.
Okay. And what
No.
budget, this year or last year?
I'm,
Which budget, this year, like, we haven't done this year yet, so last year.
no, I know. I'm here early enough. And I'm gonna be watching you guys. Ronnie knows that. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Arthur.
All right, correspondence and announcements, I think I covered a lot of that conversation. All right, so I got a letter, a thank you letter from Ralph LaFraza for the tree that's on the tree that was on town property, abutting his property. Very thankful for Ron and Ira and Ron and you, Ron, for assisting in the removal of that tree.
You have a lot of people who appreciate what you do. And I was amazed, you did get a couple of, what do you call it, appreciation for, and that the roads are well taken care of.
Does anyone else have any correspondence or announcements?
I do not. No.
Board vacancies, we have vacancies currently on Economic Development Commission. There's still 3 alternate vacancies. The Valentine Sterling Transfer Station Commission, there's still 1 alternate vacancy. And the Library Board of Trustees has a vacancy, and the Planning and Zoning vacancy was filled. So COVID-19 updates for old business. We did receive some good news, the last totals report from the state. We are no longer in the red zone for COVID. We are not even in the
Great.
orange zone. We are totally out of all zones.
We don't have any?
None. I mean, we have cases.
But we are
only had-
under 5, so
Yeah.
that puts us as gray on the last
We
2
had
weeks.
one,
I've been that way a long time.
we only had, according to the state report, I think we had 1 case 1 week and 2 cases the other week. So we're moving in the positive, so not the positive, I guess, the negative direction.
We're moving in the good direction.
Yes, that's,
Yes.
So, and to follow that up, the governor has released his plan for opening, which I haven't really put it out there yet. If you can find it on the governor's website, so I don't know if it's gonna change or stay or what he's gonna do.
You get it, and then
Trying to figure out what it is, but it's one of the reasons why we planned the town meeting when we did, because his
Yeah,
plan
it's
for
supposed to-
opening things up, is supposed to be the 19th, so, the capacity limits change, and, so that's all good stuff. Vaccines. So the vaccines are going by age now. March 22nd is when ages 45 to 54 can start signing up for vaccines. Right now, it's 50 over the age of 55, and healthcare personnel, medical first responders, residents and staff of long-term care facilities, and school staff, childcare providers. I know that there's some problems because there's such a large pool of people signing up right now. I know there are problems with people finding the vaccine close by. I should be hearing more about how that's going tomorrow in a meeting. So just tell people to be
I
patient.
think that there was a town of Vernon before, they were riding around banging on doors, and if people were home, they'd give them their shots.
Yeah,
But
some school districts, I've heard from my neighbors, they're both school teachers. One is, he's trying to make an appointment. The spouse is, they are coming to the school and setting up for 2 days at the school to give all the teachers their first shot. So it depends on the school district. There's a lot of variables there.
most of it's off the western side of the state, that we're all one is too.
The other thing that I think that I read recently, and some anecdotal from some friends outside of Connecticut, and I've heard that Connecticut may follow along, is they're going to start expanding the hours that they're running. I have a friend in New York City who just got his first shot this morning at 2:30 a.m. was when his appointment was scheduled. So, we're ramping up. In general, it's ramping up, it's opening up, and if you can't get an appointment, just keep trying.
Yeah.
You'll get an appointment. And once you have your appointment, keep checking, you may be able to get something sooner. So,
That was the COVID update. Next item is new business action. The first thing we have is public safety volunteer reimbursement ordinance repeal. So we didn't, for the executive order that we have the ability to act on these ordinances are the directives to follow as close to the process that you would follow if it was going to the town to vote, which we did for everything except for this public reimbursement ordinance, because we didn't do a public hearing for it. Because at the time when we were doing our public hearings, we weren't ready to talk about
It
this
wasn't,
yet.
yeah.
So originally we were gonna act on this tonight, but we didn't do a public hearing, so I'm not comfortable acting on it. So my suggestion, is to, when we get to that part on the agenda, but I can do that next year, I talked about it. The town meeting that we're planning, we can do the public hearing right before the town meeting and then immediately go into the town meeting so that we don't have to have another meeting. We can do it all before, and that this would be added to the town meeting to vote on.
not trying to slow you down, trust me. Is there going to be any issue with it being a public hearing and the fact that for the town meeting, we have to do validation of everyone who's coming in? Is it a different set of requirements for a public hearing versus the town meeting? Because anyone can attend a public hearing.
Right.
So if we're restricting who can come in, are we violating anything by doing it that way?
We haven't even talked about
No,
that.
because they can still show up in person. if they want to, they just have to have access to the meeting, or have to be able to speak, so they'll still be able to come in person or whatever, or view it online.
Okay, so the YouTube stream would count.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
and it'll be the hybrid meeting too, so.
Right, so if they come in person or they watch it on YouTube, we meet the requirements for the public hearing. Okay, I just want to make sure that, you know, we're hitting everything that we need to if we're gonna do that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what we'll do, is we'll just move that to that. If that's okay.
And they can send comments to the email.
Yes, they can still make comments. All right, so for the public works garage closeout, I don't know if I gave you guys a copy of this one.
That's all right.
It's okay.
This is a resolution to vote on that now. I can read it.
Yep.
All right. Board of Selectmen appropriation resolution in lieu of town meeting for transfer of garage construction funds. Whereas the Board of Selectmen has previously recommended the transfer of $23,246.95 from the general fund to Public Works Garage Fund to be applied towards the payment of the final costs associated with the construction of the Public Works Garage, to cover cost overruns associated with the use of unsuitable cells. And whereas in light of the current declaration of public health and civil preparedness emergencies in the state of Connecticut, and executive orders issued by Governor Lamont in conjunction with such declarations, the holding of a town meeting would not be prudent. And whereas Section 7 of Executive Order 7S issued by Governor Lamont on April 1st, 2020, permits the Board of Selectmen to authorize an appropriation in an amount less than 1% of the town's current total municipal budget without complying with the statutory requirement to hold a town meeting or referendum to approve such transfer. And whereas the Board of Selectmen has determined that the transfer of the funds to be applied to the balance of the construction costs for the Public Works Garage is in the best interest of the town. Now therefore be it resolved that the town shall transfer the sum of $23,246.95 from the town's general fund to the Public Works Garage Fund.
I make a motion as such to follow that resolution.
I second the resolution.
So the resolution to appropriate the funds to the Public Works Garage Fund was made by Ron and seconded by Skip. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So it's approved. Now the fuel bid.
Thank you.
So you guys all have copies of, we're given copies of the fuel bid. Just need to make a motion to put it out to go forward with it.
You said it's the same thing you did last year, right?
Yeah. The same
I
thing.
thought it was fine. I make a motion, we use the one we put out last year and go out to bid.
And I second the motion.
Right, so the motion was made by Ron and seconded by Skip to go out to bid for the fuel for the fiscal year 21-22. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it's approved. So we're down to the pay rate for the part-time fire EMT and the register. So. Alright. So upon reviewing for the part-time fire EMT staff, I was talking to Jody at the fire chief, that our day staff rate for our paid staff were comparably lower to neighboring towns, which is making it harder to find the paid staff to cover our day shift. So he suggested that we increase the pay starting now to the end of the fiscal year from $17.60 per hour to $20 per hour for the part-time fire EMT staff, and from $21.38 an hour to $22 an hour for the part-time lead staff. that's one person that oversees. And then when we're doing the budget for next year to reevaluate and go up to a more comparable.
To market rate.
This is like a smaller level with the other level. And then also for the registrars, they were recently voted in, and their hourly pay is $14 an hour, in comparable to other towns, that's low. So since their terms just started in January, to bring them from $14 an hour to $17 an hour, which is a comparable rate to other towns. And that also makes it the same amount. This is for the registrars and the deputy registrar. It makes it the same amount of pay for the election instead of trying to figure out different hours for what they.
Hours at one rate versus hours at a different rate. Got it.
Just those are things that we're suggesting.
Okay, you want a motion?
Yes.
I make a motion that we update the pay rates for the fire, EMT, and registrars as suggested.
I second that motion.
So a motion's been made and seconded to approve the pay rate increase for town employees as mentioned earlier. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, it's approved. So legislative updates and budget, state budget pilot. The pilot bill that I testified on, that Representative Lanu helped get us through the House, was passed in the Senate as well. So it moved forward to the governor, and it's part of the bill, the budget. So I'm not sure it's pending the budget approval.
And at that point, it gets lost in the murkiness of state bureaucracy.
Yeah, so there's a whole chain reaction of things with this too, because from what I'm gathering, the funding, because the pilot funding that was passed by the House and the Senate adds money to the budget that's not in there. So there has to be somewhere for that money to come from.
Reconciliation is what
So one of the things that's also up for at the legislature this year is the marijuana bill. And the marijuana bill has in it that money goes to pilots. So that's,
If they make as much money that they think they're gonna make.
and an interesting thing about
Based on every state that has legalized, they have all exceeded their forecast.
and there's also money in the marijuana bill for town. If you have you have marijuana sold in your town, then there's a tax that goes to the town. That the tax collector collects directly from the retailer, which is a whole other can of worms because there's no procedure for that right now. So.
There would probably be several ordinances we would have to address if someone wanted to move into the form of better value.
So it's a whole new world. So, but that's the legislature that's going up, and there's another one that I've been keeping an eye on is the broadband bill that's out there. It's Pura right now currently doesn't regulate broadband. This would give that authority to Pura, but also the municipalities that own a part of the telephone, like the top part of the telephone pole, and if we wanted to do our own broadband, like our own municipal broadband,
Yep.
we have the authority to do that. And this bill, and at the meeting, I was like, why would it have like Wallentown? Like, how would we even do that? Like, own our own broadband? And they're like, you
So-
hire someone to manage it. I'm like, yeah, but still, that's like too big of a thing to.
So let's just take a second on this, and this is, I have a few thoughts on this. Towns that have done it, it has worked out well
In
for them.
Massachusetts, there's a lot of towns that have done it in Massachusetts and like New Hampshire and stuff.
Yeah, and it has helped incentivize businesses to come in because infrastructure is one of the biggest obstacles for certain classes of business coming in. And if we as a town decided to move forward, and we wouldn't do it, we would contract with a company to do it on our behalf to run it. And basically, we would only do it if it made sense where the town was actually getting some money back on the contract, not losing money on that contract. That would incentivize businesses coming in, which is something the EDC would love, and the whole town would, and it would be, I think we should look into it.
Yeah, because that's what I was curious about it, because other towns in Massachusetts and New Hampshire have done it, and I've been going to look into this to see how they did it. And it also, I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a lot of stuff to think about.
I think at this point in time, coming as we're still in the pandemic, I think this is something that we put a pin in this, and if any of us wind up on the next board, then that should be an agenda for the next board. And if we are not, I will be coming before the next board saying, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that would definitely be a boon to the town.
Yeah, I'm on the CCM broadband committee and been following along with how things are going. And this bill makes it easier for municipalities to do that. And also, in the meeting we were in today about the federal funding, they're allowing that federal COVID funding to be used towards broadband.
That's awesome. I can tell you, I hear from constituents all the time. It's, we have limited options here, and adding another option increases competition.
And that's what I said too. I'm like, I'm not even thinking about doing our own municipal, but we just need someone else to come out here to give us options.
Right, but if it was under a town contract, so it was officially Voluntown broadband, Voluntown wireless, that is something we would have control over via the contract with whoever we had come in to do it. And we would have no problem getting bids, because there are lots of companies who would come in, so we would need to be very careful on evaluating the bids. But I think it's a great opportunity for, like I said, with everything we've got going on, for early in the next board to look at this. So 2 thumbs up for me for that idea, yes.
So those are the bills that I've been keeping an eye on. So, and then to the town meeting. So I talked to the school about using the building for a town meeting. Because like I said earlier, the governor is loosening up on restrictions to do, so it's looking feasible to do a town meeting for March 20th. I talked to the school about using the building, and they weren't comfortable with us using the building on school night. With taking into consideration
It's gotta be
the
clean, right?
cleaning and everything. So they said if we wanted to use the building, to do it on a Saturday.
Okay,
So we have to still do the school uniform and stuff, but we looked at Saturday, March 20th at 10 a.m. as the date, because when we start moving into April, we have Easter, spring break, like a whole bunch of stuff that's making it more difficult for
That's a good one.
stuff.
I have challenges for that date, but if that's the date that we need to do, I will make it.
It'll be a hybrid meeting too, so there will be at the school for people that want to vote in person, and we'll also have the Zoom for people that can vote via Zoom. So that's where we are with that, and we would do the public hearing right before the town meeting to get it all done at once.
We can probably do the public hearing as we're doing that half hour of check in. If we have multiple hosts, which we still have to test out, but
Well, everybody won't be in the meeting yet, but.
they will be able to watch it on YouTube while they're trying to get in. I know that's adding a layer of complexity of swapping between apps.
We're gonna probably tell people if we're having, for the notice, we have that they both start at 10. Because that was the easiest way, so we probably just tell people to be there for 10 regardless.
Right, but we need to tell people that they need to, if they need to validate who they are so that they can vote via Zoom, then we can't have that starting at 10, that's gotta start
Yeah,
at
they have to.
9:30.
Yeah.
9:30, Julie, I don't want to speak.
Yeah, I would say at least 9:30.
Okay, so 9:30 so that we can start validating people. And make sure, that means we've got to be there for 9:15, make sure everything's set up, at least.
At least,
So, yeah,
Good.
9 o'clock.
So I'm gonna read
Get your own problems.
I'll read the meeting call. And then we can do them or whatever. So the notice, town of Valentine notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing to discuss the repealing of discuss and repeal of the following. Public safety volunteer reimbursement ordinance and an ordinance to amend section 5 of the public safety volunteer reimbursement ordinance. On Saturday, March 20th, 2021 at 10 a.m. at the Valentine Elementary School at 195 Main Street. This meeting will also be held via Zoom and live streamed on the town YouTube channel when has like town of Valentine notice of special town meeting. The board of selectmen of the town of Valentine, Connecticut hereby warns and gives notice that a special town meeting of the town will be held at the Valentine Elementary School, 195 Main Street, Valentine, Connecticut, on Saturday, March 20th, 2021 at 10 a.m. or immediately following the conclusion of the public hearing. And this meeting will be held on Zoom and live streamed on YouTube and the information. And then the meeting call. Notice of a special town meeting, March 20th, 2021. The town of Valentine, the board of selectmen of the town of Valentine, Connecticut hereby warns and gives notice that a special town meeting of the town will be held at the Valentine Elementary School, 195 Main Street, Valentine, Connecticut, on Saturday, March 20th, 2021 at 10 a.m. or immediately following the public hearing scheduled for that time. This meeting is a hybrid meeting and can also be participated in via Zoom. Electors and others eligible to vote in the town meetings in the town of Valentine must register with their legal name that appears in the tax list or their voter registration card through the following link. All users will be approved before being allowed into the meeting. Participants on Zoom will be voting via poll. 1, to consider and act on adoption of the following proposed ordinances. An ordinance authorizing the appointment of the town clerk. 2, to consider and act on repealing the following ordinances: public safety volunteer reimbursement ordinance and an ordinance to amend section 5 of the public safety volunteer reimbursement ordinance. Copies of each ordinance listed above are available at the office of the town clerk and on the town website. Signed and dated this 9th day of March.
Motion to accept that?
Yes.
I make that motion.
I second the motion to accept both resolutions.
So, motion's been made and accepted to, to accept the town meeting call and the public hearing notices. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, zero.
all of you need to sign. Fine.
We all need to sign it.
And that's all I have.
And after we sign that, we can make the motion. We can make the motion now. I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.